Good evening, my friends. Today, I'm still holding this phone in my hand because for some reason I have not gotten my little phone holder out of my truck, even though I'm in it every day. Oh well, so I want to continue to talk about the ministry of Satan, which the Pharisees were fulfilling during their time. And actually, there's so much more I want to say about the law of Moses and condemnation, but I want to take us there maybe little by little. But Luke 11, I just want to show us like there was a point in time where I was reading the New Testament, and then it took it upon myself as I was reading the Gospels. I think I highlighted it in pink or something like every time the Pharisees were watching uh, Jesus to accuse him of something, or they watched him closely, or they were laying in wait to, or they set a trap for him to, or they um, were making up these stories to try and trick him into saying something or whatever it was that they did. And I highlighted it, and you'd be surprised. It's actually very eye opening, and it teaches us, if we pay attention, the leaven of the Pharisees, which is what I want to talk about. Luke 11:53 says, "And as he said these things unto him, the scribes and the Pharisees began to urge him vehemently and to provoke him to speak many things, laying wait for him and seeking to catch something out of his mouth that they might accuse him." And then it says, in the meantime, when they were gathered together, an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trode one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, "Beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy." But this is what they were doing. That's why he started to go into it, because they were provoking him, saying things, trying to get him to say something. And they were watching him and laying in wait for him, trying to catch him saying something so that they could accuse him. And then Jesus goes into talking about the Pharisees, how they're hypocrites. So, but one of like the leaven of the Pharisees, something that really starts to get into us is, in another place it says the leaven of the Pharisees is pride and self-righteousness, and self-righteousness and hypocrisy. So, but the reason why they're laying wait, it's like they're trying to accuse someone else to make themselves look good, but they themselves are terrible people, right? But the but they're able to make themselves look good on the outside, but not on the inside. So they'll point out something that's clearly wrong with somebody else, and then what's wrong with them isn't very clear, even though that's clear in itself, right? The fact that they're pointing out what's wrong with somebody else. But back then, or even now, sometimes in church, we think that if we're pointing out sinners, we're doing God's work. But that's not God's work. This is the work of Satan, to accuse and point out sinners. Um, that's not really what Jesus came and did at all. Um, I mean, there was very few. The only time he points out people's sin is when he's talking about the Pharisees. You know what I mean? It's the Pharisees. He talks about them and their sinfulness, and because they were pointing out other people's sinfulness. But that is the leaven of the Pharisees, pointing out other people's sin to make yourself look just, and also um, thinking that you're in a position to be able to condemn and judge other people, and that you're better than them because you don't do what they do. And then also the leaven of the Pharisees is to watch people lay in wait for them, like watching them, waiting for them to make a mistake so that you can accuse them. You know what I mean? It's like watching people and like waiting for them to slip up, or in like our world right now, it's like people are designated to just watching YouTube channels to catch people saying the wrong thing so that they can accuse them. It's the same thing. This is the leaven of the Pharisees. Don't do it. If if you don't agree with somebody, there's no reason for you to watch their YouTube channel. You don't have to watch their YouTube channel just so you can accuse them of everything that you don't agree with that they say. That is also the ministry of the Pharisees, which was the ministry of Satan, because Jesus said that your father is the devil. So to accuse and to watch people and listen to them and try to catch them saying something wrong so that you might accuse them of something, that is the ministry of Satan as well, because the Pharisees were children of Satan, so they were doing what their father does. Amen.